So where were stop now. Hmm. So those are the methods that you can use. Okay, I wanted to show you guys one more method. Sorry, my network was misbehaving. There is another method that you can print like that is using the formatted string method. This formatted string method, for those that watch the video, I think he spoke at length about this particular method. It's easier because you don't have to be splitting your quotation with both plus and then command everything. All you have to do now is my using this method, you say my
Please share this screen.
oh sorry. Yes. Hope everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Good. Using this formatted string method now, all we have to okay, let me start again. The formatted string method is the method that we can use to like print out the same information without going through the hassle of every time we break quotation, use plus or comma to separate our variable. No, but if we are making use of a formatted string, what all we have to do in this case is say f, then quotation, my let me use caps lock here. My name is all you have to do in this case now is my name is you use brackets. You now put your variables within brackets. My name is, call your variable student, and I am age years old. If we run this code now, it will display the same information, but this time around without the hassle of trying to know how to separate comma our variable from our text with comma or plus or anything. Let's go ahead and run this code to see what I'm talking about. This is called the formatted string method. Let me share screen. Share. So in this case, when we run this our code again and hit enter, you see my name is Checkout Boss and I am 25 years old. It's run the code without any hassle. It's just easier and better that way. It's
It's
actually
better.
less
Oh.
stress. Eh?
It's
What
better.
did you say?
It's better.
Yes, I guess it's way better than trying to separate everything with comma. Please, is anyone confused or is anyone not following the class so far? Indicate in the chat, let me know. If you are following up to this extent, please type go ahead. Let me know. Type go ahead in the chat. I'm waiting. Okay, good. So on to the next what am I going to call it? On to the next course of action is type conversion. That is how to convert a string to an integer to a string or to a float and the rest. So let me show you guys what we're talking about in this instance. So I explained to you guys that this is a string, right? So let's say what are we going to use for example? Okay, let's still use age. Let's say in situation where we say age is 25. Who can tell me what kind of variable this particular variable is now? Anybody?
It's a string. String.
String. Correct. Okay. Is anybody confused why it's a string instead of an integer? Is anybody confused why it's a string instead of an integer? Okay, good. I believe everyone is following. Okay, Manuel, you said you are confused. In the beginning of the class, have you joined the class when I defined a string as a quoted text in Python? Were you in class then? That is to say, any um any quoted text, be it a number or be it anything, is a string as far as it's enclosed in quotes. As far as it's enclosed in quotes, it's a string. But if okay, I'm happy. But then in situation where we say 25, we just write 25 in this instance. Now it's now an integer, no longer a string. So let me say this is this string now. While printing, then let's say we encountered a situation where we need mathematical. Let's say we need mathematics. We need to do mathematics or something. We need to solve an equation. We need to add 25 to a number, and then this 25 now in Python, this 25 is not a number due to its in quotes. It's a text. Python sees this 25, this particular 25, the same way it sees this checkers box. So in situation when we have this kind of 25 and want to convert it at output, we want to convert it to a number. All you have to do is say print. Let me remove this. Within this print statement, you now say integer. That is converting this particular age. So we want to convert age to an integer. In our case, we just say age. Though it will print 25, either if we still do it in this instance, let's say we do something like this. Before we get to conversion, let's first print out the result of this particular statement. So you guys will understand it better. Let's print out the results of this particular statement. Sorry. If we go ahead and print the results of this statement, it's 25. It shows 25. But then here is where things get a bit confusing. Let me share my screen and show you guys what I'm about to do next. Ruth, I'll get to you, please. Don't worry, I'll get to you soon. Let me finish what I'm explaining now. Let's say in situation where you want to add this particular 25 to another number. Let's say plus, sorry, not a plus. Let's say plus 25. So is there anybody that can tell me what will happen when we run this particular code, or what the output of this particular code will be?
It will be error, I think, because the string will not go with the integer.
Good. It's just like trying to add a plus 1 where a is not a number. We are not solving algebraic equation here. So when we run this particular code, it will just show us, it will throw an error, a type error that you can't add a string to. Okay, good. Type error can only contain string, not integers. So let's say so in this case, where if we want to actually do maths to solve this particular equation with let me say, let's say in situation where it's a must, you need this to add this 25 in age to another 25. All you have to do is within this your print statement, convert the age to an integer. And how do we do that? You say integer in brackets age. This automatically makes this string a number, because now Python is no longer looking at this quotation. Now it's seeing it as a normal 25. When we now go ahead and run this code, it will print the result of a mathematical equation, which is 50. 25 plus 25. That's the simple thing it's going to do here. So that's 50. 25 plus 25, in our case 50. So Ruth, you said you just joined the class. You remember how to create a file from our last class, right? In our last class, you created a file. In the file, you can just go ahead and type out what you are seeing on my screen now. Let me just break them down for you. Before you do that, wait, let me break it down. Everything here now there are different kinds of variables. Students, this student name is a string variable. It's a string variable because we put a text in a quote. That is to say, any text within a quote, maybe even if we write number 509, let's say Dubem, any text we write within a quote in a Python is a string, even if it's just an empty space. This is a string. If you run this code now, it will leave space here because it recognizes this space as a string, which is just an empty space. So this is a string variable. And this total score variable now is a float variable because it's not a whole number. It's not a whole number, so it's not a whole number, so it's a float variable. That is float. Anything points within decimal point is a float. Then in our case here, 25 here is an integer. That is the next type of variable. Yes, you can write checkers box, anything you want to write, go ahead. As far as it's within is quote, as far as it's in a quote, it's a string. So this answer now is a boolean. Booleans are just two. That is true or false. Now that's the two booleans we have. So mostly we use booleans in condition statements, like when we'll be working on if-else statements, we make use of true or false there much. But these are the types of variables we have in Python, and and you joined the class when we were talking about converting variables, that is from one type to another. So that is it for that. So Ruth, do you understand? No, it cannot be yes or no. It has to be true or false. And the true is not true, not this true. And neither can it be this false, and not this false either. It has to be true, capital letter true, with capital letter T, and false with capital letter F. That is that. So these are the two booleans we have in Python. Do you understand? The person that was asking if booleans can be yes or no. Do you understand? Good. So still on type conversion. What are we going to convert next? So let's convert a number to a string. Just a number. Let's convert a number to a string. How do we do that? That is, we have this whole number here now. We want to convert it to a string. Okay, let me do simple.
Just adding quotation.
Not just add, you don't just, you have to, if you want to do it in such a way, you don't have to come here and add quotation. There is another way to do it, which is you just call the string type here, string, in brackets, age. This automatically makes this age a string. This age is now the same thing as checkers. They are both strings in this instance. So let's add this age to, okay, let's do a simple magic. I'm sorry, not a first one. I wasn't looking for a first. Plus. Who can tell me the outcome of this particular equation here? Any takers?
That's error. That's error. Okay, that's okay. Wait.
It's not error.
It's not error. Because it's string. It's not error. Sorry.
Exactly. So what do you think the answer will be?
Checkers 25, Bobby.
Not really.
So the answer will be 50 in quote.
No, that is wrong. Because these are not integers. These are two strings. It's just like adding, should I say, bringing two words, Cain and Abel, and adding it together. What will you get? When you add two words, Cain and Abel, what will you get? Anybody?
Cain and Abel.
If you add two of them together, when you bring Cain, bring Abel, and join them together, what will you get?
Cain Abel.
Eh?
It will be Cain and Abel now.
You have to remove the and.
Cain Abel.
Exactly. So using that logic, what will be the answer of this particular equation?
Checkers 25.
No, we are not
Okay.
using checkers.
No, it's not code now.
It's not checkers we are using. We are using age. We are converting age to a string and then adding it to another string.
25.
Yes, exactly. If we run this code now, the answer will be 2500. 525, which is 25, 25, but they will just join the two of them together. Let's run it and see. Let's know if we are on track. So when we run this code now, hope you can see it. 25, 25, which you can also say is
Yeah.
you have a question? Ruth, what did you say is in gray, please? Ruth. Ruth, you wrote a message. What did you say is in gray? Okay. I don't. Gray? I don't think I have any stuff gray in my code. Let me share my. So what's in gray, please?
Sir, I think is the ones you put hashtag. I think
Okay,
is that one.
okay, okay. Wait, let
That's
me
what
explain.
she's calling it.
Okay, I think it's gray actually, but let me explain it for you guys. Does anybody want to give it a try? Like why these ones are colored the way they are? Or why someone already called
Because
them?
it's a
Okay,
note. It's a note.
yes,
As
a
in, it
note.
doesn't run
And what
with the
makes
other
it a
one
note?
because of the hash, this thing on it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's correct. When after writing this code now, we gave Python instruction. Like we are writing this code. While we are writing this code, we name this an integer. This asterisk now, we are telling Python, this is not for you. This is for humans. This is like a comment. Maybe you want to write a function, and then you want to put an instruction for the next programmer that might read your code to be able to understand what you are talking about. You say, you do something like asterisk, you use asterisk, this is an is an integer. Or you can go ahead and explain whatever you want to explain. This note you can write, or maybe you write a code. While writing a code, you finish writing a code, and along the line, you no longer need that particular line of code. You no longer need it. All you have to do is just to comment it out. If anything you comment out, you are just telling Python, when you are running this particular project, ignore this line. Do you understand? Is anybody confused about comments? Making use of comments? Is there any confusion in making use of comments?
No.
Good. So we have one more conversion to do. We've converted wait, let me go back, let me be explaining the code. So we've converted an integer to a string, and we've converted an integer to a string, and we've converted a string, which is when we put this 25 in quotes, we made it a string and then converted it to an integer. We converted an integer to a string as well. So one more thing, let's convert a float. Let's convert a float to a string and also a string to a float to see how it's done. So let's say this 9.5, we want to write something like a text where this 9.5 will no longer be a number or just a float. How are we going to do it? We have to convert it to we have to convert it to a string to put it within our text. Though it's not compulsory, but it's just the right practice. For example, let me say, hello, Mr. Connor, student name. Student name. You scored. Oh, sorry. In another quote, you scored. Then, but if we say you scored, let me say total score in this manner, it's not like you are using it in a text. There is, okay, you even see that Python already highlighted this particular code as like it's confusing. So how are we going to use this particular float field in this instance without like breaking our code or making our code to fail? To do that, all we have to do is convert this float. This is this 9.5. We convert it to a string. To do that, so like you remembered when we converted an integer to a string, all we had to do was str, then in parentheses, whatever you want to convert, which is in our case this float. This float. Now, when we run this code, it will just say hello, checkers, you scored 9.5. But in this case, this 9.5. What is happening? Okay. Roots, you have a question? No, I don't have an emoji in my code. Do you want to add an emoji to your code? It's not bad to do. That's just a hint. That's kind of a hint in Python. The AI in my ID is hinting me what to do next. Is that the question you have? Are you making use of a laptop or a mobile phone route? Okay, yeah, you have your emojis in your mobile phone now. So I thought you were making use of a laptop, but that's not really necessary. But I wanted to show you in case you needed an emoji on a laptop, but there's no need for that now. So when we run this code, hope you all can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. When we run this code, class.py, it will say, hello, Mr. Checkers, you scored 9.5. But in this case, this 9.5 is not a number. It's a string. It's the same thing as this code. There is no difference between scored and 9.5 in this case. They are both text. Python recognizes the two of them as strings. So let's make it a bit like more understandable. Let me try using it in math, like trying to solve math with that. So let's say when we try adding this particular float to when we try adding this particular float to another float, this particular string to another float, let me say 1.4. Okay, like as you can see, Python is already warning me that there is an error, an error in my code because it cannot add a a string to a number. You cannot add checkers to 1.4 the same way you cannot add this particular converted float, because in this particular statement, this total score is no longer a float, it's now a string. You can't add a string to a number. But if we just say total score plus 1.4, this is an understandable code by Python. Python can easily read this to understand that this is a math equation. We are simply trying to tell it to add 9.5 to 1.4, and it will do just that when you run the code. So let's put in a situation where this is anybody confused, or do I have to run it for you guys to understand? Please, if you are confused, indicate in the chat. So for those making use of mobile phone in this next phase, let me make use of my mobile phone. That is to convert. Let me use my phone to convert an integer to a float. So in so any question up to this level? Is there any question?
No question, no question.
Okay.
You have not done float to integer conversion or integer to float or any of them.
I've done float to string, but I'm about to do float to I'm about to do string to float. Let me show you guys this. Okay, let's just call it num. Hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I think this screen is really tiny. 7
No,
point.
no, not seeing it.
How do I zoom this out? I think the mobile display is a bit tiny, so I will still do that on the system, but let me just do it on the phone and run.
Are you
So
sharing that thing?
I can't hear you.
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, Lesson, please, you can mute your mic. Thank you. Then let's name a string variable. Let's say 9.7, and then we want to convert this this particular string to a float. That is how to do that. We say print. If we say print in parentheses num, it's going to print this particular equation, this particular string as just a normal text, that is 9.7 text. But then we are trying to print a float. Maybe we want to do a math, we want to solve math, we want to use it for math. All we have to do now is type float. Then close it like this. That is to say, this particular num address it like convert this, remove the quotation, a quotation enclosing this 9.7 and make it a float, that is a normal float which is 9.7. So let's say we want to add this float to another float. Let's say something like, for instance, let's add it to 2.6 and go ahead and run this code. Let's run the code. So share. All we have to do here is I wrote my code in within my main.py file, main.py. Then so 12.299 and the rest. So let me do that. Let me do this same thing on my system. Doing this same thing on my system, it will now be something like, we already have our float here. Let's convert this to a string first of all. That is, to do that, we say we close this in a quotation. That is like this now. So this now is a string. There is no difference between total score and student name, which is why immediately we change this to a string. The first thing this our print statement did was to identify that this 1.4 we are trying to add here is wrong. You can't add these two stuffs together. But let's try something again. Using the formal logic we used before when we added string age and string 25, that is the 25 in quotes and then age converted to string. Who would guess the answer to this particular equation, to this particular print statement?
9.5 1.4.
Exactly. When we run this statement, let me run it. Just like using the same logic of Cain and Abel. When you add Cain to Abel without the and, you get Cain Abel. So in this case, we are adding. So in this case, we are adding two texts. That is two texts together. When we run the code, we get 9.5 1.4 all together.
String and string.
Yes. So then let's convert that float. Let's convert this string now to a float and still use it in this same equation. So who can tell me how I'm to convert this particular string to a float within this print statement?
You first of all remove that quotation in 9.5 and then remove this quotation in 1.4, then add a float, this thing, put a question, put a bracket, then before you add that 1.5 and close the bracket. I don't know.
If I do that, this code won't run properly. You said I should first of all remove this quotation here, which is not what we want to do. What we want to do is convert this string to a float within this our print statement. Does any other person want to give it a go?
Okay, just put a float before that total score. Float bracket before that total score to make that one a float. Yes, close the bracket. Then you can
what
still add. This
You
one,
can say
will be 9.5 point plus this 1.4. But you still need to, it's either you remove this quotation or you add same float in that 1.4.
okay, let's try adding float and see what will happen. So is anybody confused about what we did here? We just converted these two strings to float without having to remove the quotation enclosing the both of them. So when we run this code, it will, instead of adding it, roots, wait, you will share your screen after what you're about to do. Instead of showing us this result from our previous, instead of showing 9.5 1.4, it will now go ahead and get and print the value of those two numbers when added together, which in this case 10.9. So Ruth, do you have any problem? Any problem, anybody?
Go ahead.
Ruth, okay. Okay, Ruth, you want to share your screen? Okay, share your screen. Let me see what you've done so far. Okay, I don't think she can hear me. So, okay, good. Okay. Complete, complete what you are typing. Type the total score completely. Good. You know how to run your code, right? Now, go back. Click on that window panel, bottom left. Sorry, bottom right. Swipe. Yes. Look for your project. Good. I have clicked that same button again. That same bottom right button. Go ahead, bottom right. The window icon. Good. Click on create tab. Or new tab, sorry, new tab. Type shell. Select the first one there. Run your code. Just tap, no, not that run. Click on that bottom left, bottom right corner again. That panel again. Click on that panel again. Swipe. Good. Click on that console. Click on that shell. Good. Tap on anywhere on your screen. Then type Python. Space. The name of your file. Type the name of your file. Enter. Use the good. That is Correct. So let's write a simple board story using the variables we just practiced in this class. How are we going to start this? This is a simple board story using just variables. So in our case, let's say the first instance is place equals mountain. Day equals Monday. What else? Today equals what are we going to, let's say today equal, let's use an integer here, equals 10, which is 10th. Then event equals, okay, no, first, what are we going to use for events? Birthday. Let's use birthday. And then one more information. Gifts. Hope you guys are taking notes of all these stuff. So for your assignments today, using all these things I just listed out here, these variables, using all these variables, just generate anything, like any print statement of your choice, and make sure all these variables are in there. Then I don't understand. Using the kinds of print statements we discussed in this class, either the formatted string method, or the plus and variable name, or the comma and variable name. Ruth, what is that? On mobile phone, right? Ruth, don't worry. Once I finish this assignment, I will show you guys again, because this class, once I finish this assignment, this class have ended. So if you do not know how to create a project or a new file on mobile phone, please stay back. You can, after this, let me show you guys one more time, because I don't think I'll be showing you guys again from the next class. Do you understand? Then generate any print statement of your choice using these particular variables, or you can add, like, okay, if you want to add more variables, you can add between 4 and 6 more variables to these existing ones. 4 to 6. It should not be more than 6 new variables. And then using these variable plus the ones you added, generate just a simple print statement using any of the methods we used in this class today. You guys understand? So in our next class, we'll be handling arithmetic operations in Python. We're making use of addition. We'll be doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, which is division. we encompass float and both and whole numbers, plot divisions, modulus, that is remainder, and then exponential. Most of these things, most of the just simple stuff, but we'll be handling them. And then after that, well, in our next class, that's where we'll be starting our next class from. But this particular one is the assignment for today. Hope you guys understand.
Yes, we
Is
do.
there, is there any confusion about the assignment?
But can you say it again?
Okay, listen. Using these variables on my screen now, this place, mountain, day,
The
Monday, today, 10th, event, birthday, gift, phone. You can add between 4 and 6 more variables. If you are adding more variables, if you want to add more variables to this already existing 5, it should not be less than 4 and it should not be more than 6. It should be between 4 and 6 more variables. Then using these variables, if you added more variables plus the one you created, generate a simple print statement. That is, the print statement can be as long as anything you want it to be, but it must encompass these 5 variables. These 5 variables listed here, plus the ones you added, if you added. It's not a must you will add, but if you must add, it should not be less than 4 and it should not be more than 6. Then using the string method we discussed in this class, using those string methods we discussed in this class, which is formatted string, formatted string printing method, and then the one we use plus and plus variables in quotation and text, and then comma, using comma as space. Using any of those 3 print types, generate any print statement encompassing all these variables. It's very simple actually. Just if you want to add, don't add less than 4, don't add more than 6. Do you understand? Any confusion? So root. Hope there is no confusion about the assignment. Okay. So root, you are making use of a mobile phone, am I right? Root, you are making use of a mobile phone, right? Mercy, what is your question?
Because if you want to ask what the mode of submission would be like,
The mode of submission.
yes.
Don't worry about that. I'll tell you guys. I'll send it to the WhatsApp group. So you're active on the
Okay,
WhatsApp
sir.
group, right? Okay.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. So root, this is how to create a new Lotachuku raise hand.
Okay, yes, boss. They can start typing their names on the chat so I can take the attendance. Well done, bro.
Oh, okay, no problem. You guys said in, right? You can type your name on the chat for attendance. So root, I'm trying to create a new project on my phone. So watch carefully what I'm doing. When you load your screen, there is 2 things you can do here to create a new project. That is both a new project and a new file. The first one is click at the footer on your screen. There you will see 3 buttons: apps, create, and account. Account is to check your account information. Create is to create a new project, and then apps is for to check the apps you already have on your phone. That is the already existing app. For example, if I click on apps, it will display all these apps that I already created. But if I click on create, okay, sorry, not create. If you want to create um, a new project, all you have to do is to the top right of your screen, top right, after the place they wrote your name, there is something like 3 dots there. When you click on them, it will display this drop down, remix a template and import from GitHub. All you have to do is click on remix a template, and then it will open up this thing for you. Choose Python. Is mine Python is first here, but if you do not see Python here, you can go ahead and search for Python. When it brings it out, you click Python. So you will select Python. You will have to enter the name of your project. What will I name this? Let me name this Logic 101. Then after naming your project, you go ahead and click on create. It have created this particular folder, this particular project, Logic 101. Then after the loading, you will see, you will get this screen now. All you have to do from here is at the bottom right of your screen, yes, bottom right corner, click on this panel icon. That is just for minimize, I think. Click on it. Then before this search bar here, there is a folder to the bottom left, a folder icon to the bottom left. That is this icon here before the search bar. If you click on that icon, it will bring out this interface for you. Either you select your main.py. If you want to create a new file, at the footer of your screen, that is at the bottom, it will list out a bunch of actions like new file, new folder, upload files, download as zip, show hidden files, and the rest. To create a new file, all you have to do is new file, and then it will bring out this. Then you name your file. Let me say Logic Tech. No, you see how I'm naming this file? There should be no space. Root, where are you lost? You know what will happen? Let me finish. Then you will share your screen, and I will guide you through it. You name logitech.py, and then add. Click on this add button. It have created the file for you, logitech.py. If you just click on it, it will open up this IDE interface for you. So share your screen, Roots. Let me guide you through it. Please, if you have taken attendance, you are free to leave the class. Yes, if this the main reason why there is no space, instead of space, if you want to create a Python file, instead of space, you will use underscore. That is, let me say Logic Tech. Let me create. Wait, Root, please. I'm taking over for now. Just wait a bit. Let me answer a question. You will share your screen after. So, Jidechu, are you making use of a mobile phone or laptop?
Phone.
Okay. The main reason why there is no space here now is so that Python can easily read the name of the files together. It's not when you are running your files. If you are running your files, if you say Python logitech.py, it will not read it. If you say, okay, let me say new file. I write something like this, logic. Okay, let me use logic. Then space tech.py. It might allow me create this file here, but then in the long run, there are some terminals. If you try to run this code, most terminals won't run it. Instead, it will, if you run this code, it will see Python logic tech.py. It will throw up an error that it doesn't understand what logic is. Logic is not an internal command or something like that. But then if you write it together, it will understand that logic and tech are together. If you must separate them, use an underscore. Don't use normal dash. If you still sometimes it will still stop at reading. It will read normal dash at space. Though a few terminals do that. So you use logic underscore tech if you must join the two words together and you want to separate them one way or another. Do you understand? Good.
Yes.
Okay, Mesoma, watch what Ruth is going to do now. You understand from how she will create her own file. Ruth, you can go ahead and share your screen. So to create a new file, click on that create to go back to the home screen. This create at the bottom of your screen, at the footer. Good. At the top right of your screen, there's three dots there. Remix a template. Good. Select Python. Good. Name your app. Okay. Give your app and your project a name. No, remove the .py. You are naming a folder, not a file. Remove the .py. It's not needed there. And you can use space in this instance when creating a folder. You can use space here as well. But then scroll down and click create. Create. Good. Then to create a new file, at the bottom of your screen, click on that panel, that minimize panel there, bottom right. Then to the bottom left, there is another button there. Click on that button. So you can see the create file button at the footer of your screen. At the bottom of your screen, there is a new file. Yes, new file. Then create your file. .py, not space py. .py. Remove that space there. Good. Add. Is any other person still confused? Or do you have a question? So that will be the end of our class today. You guys should have a great night rest. See you guys on Tuesday. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow night. Good night. You can leave the meeting now. You can leave the class.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Good night, boss. Thank you. So,
So Lota Chukwu. Okay, Lota don't come out. Well, we have sort of Friday presentation tomorrow. It will be explained in the group chat. Don't worry. We don't have a class tomorrow. We have sort of I don't forget, like sort of a seminar tomorrow. Not really a class. So that's why I say see you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye. Favor, you can leave the class as well.